So if you have the VM3000 installed on your laptops or on PCs that you're using, you are more than welcome to open up the VM3000 and then we program it together as we go along. So let's open up the VM3000. Then I explain to you what you guys need to be on the lookout for, what you guys need to program, what you guys need to do to get a VM3000 switched on, rebooted, and then it should give you what you want. Like I've said, it's a very, very easy system to work on. Might be intimidating as you start, but as you get used to the program, as you play around with the program, it will be very easy. So opening up the VM3000 from fresh, you always come to this page that is opening up on my screen. As you see, I cannot fill the page. I cannot fill the page. It's default on this page. I cannot, I can minimize, I can close, but I cannot click this button to fill up the whole entire screen. So you'll notice this. So for the moment, we just have to live with it. So basically, the VM3000 programming is done on these basic columns. All right. So we have a system, we have a surveillance. All right. You see the orange icon will move. We have a priority section. We have a zone section. We have an event section. As you see, that orange icon is moving. Then lastly, we have what we call the log and the error section. All right. So it's pretty simple. Always default from when opening a brand new file, it always opens up on this one, which is called the system icon. And on here, there's things that you need to set. And you will always see your picture with one VA, 6 outputs, a choice of RM300 fireman's microphone, a choice of RM200M general microphone. So basically, it always opens to this screen. Right. Before we go into the real programming, I don't know how comfortable you guys are. I've been speaking for the last from 9 o'clock my time to 11 o'clock. I was on training with some guys in Nigeria, so I can push 2 hours talking nonstop. So if you guys need a break for 5 minutes, for 2 minutes, for 3 minutes, you are more than welcome to unmute your microphone or type on the chat screen. Then you can take a breather. I am comfortable. I can go for the next 4 hours without any issue. So if you guys feel like it's getting too much, let's take a breather to refresh it. Please let me know. Right, let's come back to our software. We have the top section of the software, which I'm going to go through with you and explain. Then we'll go into the bottom section of the software where we actually program physically the units. So the first section is called the file section. You click on it. This is where if you click on new, you create a brand new file like the one that is opened up with nothing. You create a brand new file. If you select open, it asks you, or it will take you to the file that you last worked on that will be based on your system. So in my case, as you see, it will be opening and referring to a file or looking for a folder where I've last prepared. For you guys, because you don't usually do this, whenever you open here and click open, it will populate the screen with all the VM3000 that you have already programmed. If it doesn't do and it's doing what it is doing to mine, this is simply because you have saved your files not within the software, but to a folder of your choice. So importantly, the VM always saves folders within the software, or you have an option like mine where I save external to the software. So if you are saving within the software, the moment you click open, it always takes you to the folder where you have last saved your configs, and they will be all populated here. Right? That's one thing. Then the next one is the save. So save as any document you're saving the file that you are programming as it is without any name changes. Save as, okay, is you are saving this file as with a name change. So if I save now, I'm basically saving this file as a VM3000 folder file. If I'm going to do this, which is what we are going to do today, I'm going to save this one, right? I'm going to save this one in my training session folder. That's why it came up. So in this case, I'm going to create a brand new training session folder under my training files. Okay, let's do that. Let's take a new one. Yours will just save in the software if you don't change it. So today's date again, as usual, is 01/06/2021, then underscore how I save my files. TechNet VM3000 software. Okay, training. Sorry, there we go. So I've called my file, my date, my name. So you can save this file pretty much as you want. I prefer that when you are saving your files, you always save the file with the site name. I save all my files with a date and a site name. So if you are working for the Nakamati stores, you go there, you put the name and the file. So guys, the most important part is you save the file the way you like it, the way you can remember. That's the most critical part. Okay, let me do that. So I'm going to open my folder and I'm just going to save my file as it is. Now you see I've now saved my file. It was initially VM3000. Now it's now called 0106-2021 underscore TechNet VM3000 training, software training. So this is going to be my file. So what I'll do is also at the end of our training session, I'm going to share this software file with you, and you can compare to the one that you're creating as we go along. If there is issues or things that you need me to address, please feel free to let me know. All right. I'm not 100% sure what you guys are basically going to be doing or dealing or programming on this particular site on tomorrow. But what I'm going to do, I would need you, maybe Emma, you can give me some feedback on the equipment that you're actually physically going to be installing. So I need to know the VM model number, the remote microphones, as well as your other units.
Okay. Basically, what we are going to program tomorrow, there's the RM-200, the remote microphone, and then they only have 3 zones for the speakers.
Okay.
They have 5 on speakers that will be on its own zone. So that's the SC630M. And then they do have ceiling speakers. So the ceiling speakers will be in the canteen, the offices. They'll all be in one zone. Then the on speakers have been split into 2. There's one in the fire. Patricia, you remember? There's one in the fire section and then one at the far end. Yes.
Okay.
So it's basically we only have 3 zones, and the speakers that are there, they are 3 zone, and then the RM.
Okay. So there's
Then
no DS.
they also need us to integrate. No. It is not there. All they need is also for us to integrate the VMs, the fire panel that they have at the site.
Okay. Okay.
All those things I've already installed them.
Okay.
They're already installed. It's just the programming part of it that is remaining.
Okay. So your RM200, which model do you have? Because I have the RM200 MS. There's an RM MS. Okay, good.
Yes.
Just one.
Yeah, only one.
Okay. All right, cool. So we know what we're looking for. So what we are going to do as part of our training session is pretty much to program this one, the training program, to simulate what you guys will have on site. And then when you go to site, you can either dump this program that we are doing now, and then you adjust it accordingly.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'll be asking questions. If I need you to answer, I'll be asking questions, and then you can just answer those questions, and then we program it as we go along. All right. So basically, what I'm going to do is, this is a training file. If you are doing the same on your site, you need to create a file that will be suitable for you. Emma, I need you to confirm there's no standby amplifier. There's no standby amplifier. It's just your RM, your VM3000, and your speakers, and the fire panel. Correct?
I can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so those are the only things that we have outside: the amplifier, the speakers, and then the RM200 MS.
Okay. All right.
Plus
cool
what
stuff.
they already have, they have not yet seen the fire panel.
All right, that's okay. That's okay. All right, good. So there's no extensions. There are no standby amplifiers, just the RM200MS, your VM3000, and your speakers and your fire panel.
Yes.
Awesome. Let's go for it. Okay. Right. So basically, we're going to program similar to what Emma is going to work on tomorrow's site, but the program is just as good as any other VM3000. So let's have a look. So we were discussing just generally over here. We had done the open, the save, which is saving this file now. Now that I'm programming, I just save. I don't have to save as. And then the save as, which is saving as a different name to the file that we already were working on. And we'll come back to this section where it says the print setting data and the CSV as well as the remote label. We'll deal with this section at the end of our programming. And then for you guys, if you want to select your language, you can change the language here. If you guys understand or write or read Dutch and French, you are more than welcome. I did one mistake of doing an experiment. I had to deprogram everything and reinstall my VM3000. So make sure that you know what you're doing. Don't change things that you are not familiar with. So just wanted to mention that. The next icon is under your communication. There's 3 tabs here. The first one is to download whatever is on the VM3000 on site to your PC. So once it finishes downloading, this screen will change to represent exactly what is on site. The second icon under communication is to upload. So you'll be sending whatever you see on your PC, whatever you have programmed up to the VM3000. Once it receives the whole full config file, the VM3000 will switch off, reboot, and come back on with your new configuration file. So those are the 2 things. The download is to pull data from the VM to your laptop. The upload is to send data from your laptop to the VM. Then lastly is your network. The network, if you click on it, it will tell you that default software settings for your communication is always on 192.168.14.1. So this is always the VM3000 VA or a VM3000 master amplifiers IP address. So it always comes on 192.168.14.1, and the subnet is always standard 255.255.255.0. So I'll type that information on our chat column. So the IP address default from the factory, I'll just type it here because it's always, I think you guys already know, but it's good that we are going through training and I'm recording this. It's good that I always type this information out. And your standard subnet settings is 255. The standard one, 255. Let me type that one out as well. .0. If it does ask you, if for any reason you are asked for a default gateway, your gateway now, default gateway from the factory that you need to communicate via is your quad 0. Sorry, 0. There we go. So these are your network parameters for the VM3000 brand new as it comes from the factory. You are more than welcome at any given point to change the IP address range, to change the subnet, to change the default gateway if you are going to be using in a corporate network. So should there be need to change these ones, all you need to do is change it on the VM3000 and ensure that your PC laptop that you are using is within the same IP range. That's all. Okay, so those are the 3 sections under communication. To download from the VA to the PC, to upload your config changes from the PC to the VA, then to do your network settings so that you know which network range to use. And then we go to the next one, which is your utility icon. Under utility icon, we'll deal with this also right at the end of our training session. This is where you use the platform to upload messages to the VM3000. So by default, as soon as we are connected to the VM3000, it will pull the messages that are already existing on the VM3000 if there are any, and it will populate them to the right slots. And then if you want to make changes, you can change and upload your own VM3000 messages of your choice. And then you click PC to VM, it will send that data up. Once this section is finished, the VM now comes with your messages. Every time you try and close the message upload platform, the utility message upload platform, it always asks you to save. Since you already have the messages, I always click no. If you want to save the same messages, you can always click it. Then the last icon there is the help version. You need to double click on it. Sorry, you need to open it up and confirm. Always, please confirm that you are using the latest VM3000 setting software. So this information, for you to confirm, you need to download, you need to go to our website and then download the VM3000. Check on the VM3000's firmwares. You must always use, we encourage you to always use the latest programming software. I'll give you hints and tips on how to do firmware upgrades. So let me write on my notebook, firmware upgrade, so that I can touch on it briefly. If you guys think of anything else, let me know by unmuting your mic or chat with me on the chat column. So I'll show you how to do a firmware upgrade procedure on the VM3000. Also, equally very important, always keep your things on the latest firmwares. Right, having done this, we are done with explaining the top section. If there's queries and questions, you are more than welcome to chat with me. Let's go into the real programming. Number one, according to what Emma has told me, we are going to have 3 zones, right? So default, the VM3000 comes with 6 zones. Right, let's go through the tabs as we program. We are on the basic tab, and we are going to be going through across where you see my arrow. All right, number one, let's deal with it. You have an option of choosing if you are going to use a standby amplifier. You may then indicate you are using a standby amplifier. If you are using the VM3000 for a dual bus operation, which I'll explain, dual bus operation, you use what we call BGM paging system. So take a look at here. If you are doing the same, if you are simulating what I'm doing, just click on use standby amplifier. It will bring a VP series here. So in your case, if you were using a VP, if you were installing a VM3240 series, you will have a VP2241 amplifier as a standby. If you are using the VM3360 series, which is 360 watts, you will then be backing up your system with a VP2421, which is a 420 watt one-channel amplifier. All right, cool. So as soon as you say in the software, you are using a standby, it will bring a standby amplifier down there for you, right? If you then say, I am using the system for BGM stroke paging, which is a 2-bus operation, the system will then change that name of that new amplifier from standby to a 2-bus external amplifier. Let me explain what this means. In a nutshell, the VM3000 is a single bus system. A single bus system simply means the matrix inside is based on 1 bus. What this means in general explanation is only 1 broadcast can go out on any of your available outputs. For example, Emma is dealing with 3 outputs, but by default, we have 6 zones, 6 outputs, or 6 areas. The VM can handle a maximum of 60 zones. So it's 6 zones per amplifier, 6 zones per expansion. You guys already know it. Maximum of 9 expansion amplifiers, and then it creates a 60 zone system. When you do this, this is where I was trying to explain. When you have done this, let's keep to this one. Okay, you need to do, when you have done this, and if you are using this option, what it means is it allows you to broadcast 2 simultaneous broadcasts to any 2 zones at any given time. So I might have a microphone paging to zone 1. I might have music playing in zone number 6. These 2 are 2 events happening across 2 buses. Therefore, the system will be able to handle it. If you say the VM3000 is using a standby amplifier, this becomes a single bus. What it means is, if I was playing music in zone 6, and I want to make an announcement in zone 1, because the system is a single bus, your music will be muted in zone 6, but only your announcements goes to zone number 1. So it is essential to always remember this. All right. Okay. And if you say not used, it is exactly a single bus with no backup. That's what it means.
Patricia has a question.
Okay. Go for it.
Sorry, I beg your pardon on that. I haven't understood.
All right, on the bus principle, Patricia?
Yes, on the bus principle.
All right, cool stuff. Let me explain it again. So whenever you hear us referring to a system saying it's a single bus, what it means is it's just 1 amplifier that is sub-split into different sections or different outputs, okay? Therefore, what it means is if I am playing a music source, that music source occupies my only existing bus or only my only existing amplifier, though I'm splitting the output to several outputs. The music to several outputs. What it means is if I use a microphone when I am playing music in any one of these areas, all my areas will be muted. They will not play that music anymore, even though I am only paging to zone one, because the microphone now is now taken over and occupying the single existing bus available in that amplifier. All right. So that's the bus topology. When I was referring to a two-bus system, if I change this one, here I've created a two-bus system. So the VM3000 is the first bus. Your external VP2421, VP2241 amplifiers become or act as your second bus. So what it means is I now have my signal split amongst two existing amplifiers. In such a case that if I am playing background music, it can play on zone number 2. And if I decide to make a paging from the microphone to zone number 6, then that page will occupy the second bus and go to the zone number 6 without affecting my music playing in zone number 2. That is a two-bus system. If we talk of a 4-bus system, which is our older VX2000 series, it means I can have 4 input sources going to 4 different outputs simultaneously at any given time because it's a 4-bus system. If we talk of the Tower SX2000, which is a 16-bus system that we normally deploy at airports, I can have 16 microphones, for example, talking to 16 zones at any given time because there are 16 buses available for that system. This is what we mean by the bus topology when we refer to amplifiers. Is it clear, Patricia?
Yes, very clear.
Thank you. All right. So please don't be afraid to ask any questions, guys. I'm here to assist you. Any question is a valid question. Let's go for it. So let's just come back to what we want. We are designing now, we are programming now the system for Emma, and he doesn't have a standby amplifier, which is our backup amplifier. He doesn't have any VX2000 DS. He doesn't have batteries on site. He only has an RM microphone, a VM3000, his speakers for his 3 areas, and his FDS fire detection system. Okay, so let's go into it. So basically, we've told the system there's no standby amplifier. As you see, it's only my VM, my 6 outputs. Here, the system will ask you, do you have any expansion amplifier? Okay. If you have, like I've told you, the whole entire VM3000 will do 60 zones. So by adding 9 expansion amplifiers, each expansion amplifier having 6 outputs, then it means I have 54 plus the original VA, another 6 to make it 60. By the way, I hope you all know this. I think you already all know this. The VM3000 has got 2 types of amplifier models. Number 1, the VM3000 VA series is always your system manager, system amplifier. The VM3000 EX or E series is your expansion or extension amplifiers. I know we might know it, but let me do this. Allow me to do this so that we can explain. I like explaining things. We have Sister Google with us, so let's do this Tower VM. Let me go for a 3240 VA. On the next one, I think my files are done. Right, let me close that one as well. Right, let's go to the next one. Tower VM 3240E. Let's have a look at these 2 models. As I'll be explaining, I would want to refer to these now and again. There's my E model. All right, let me see if I can get a decent one on the forum. Hold on 1 second. All right. Okay, so there's my E. Okay, let me see if I can get a decent one again for my VA. All right, we hopefully should pick up something decent. I normally want to do this one. Let me open that one. Let me open those two, then we'll be referring to these as we proceed. Right, these are the two models that basically we deal with. Okay, so let me do that. Let me switch everything else off and we deal with these ones as we program. Excuse me. So Emma has got this one on site, which is our VM3240 or 3360 VA. Per every given VM3000 system, there's always one. Per every given VM3000 system, there's always one VA. And then you can back up with a maximum of 9 expansions. This is what it looks like at the back where you connect. Same as the VA. This is what it looks like at the back when you connect. So but I'll be referring to these as we program, to these pictures as we program our system. All right. Okay, let's go for it. So we have told it there's no expansion. We have told we need to go to the next section where it says external attenuator. Right. If you look onto the picture of the VM3360 or the picture of the VM3240, you see these little volume controls on each output. There's a little volume control here, and then there's a zone button to switch it on and off. Similarly, you have the same 6 volume controls per each output and the 6 zone switching on and off buttons per each output. Okay, so it's 6 zone buttons, 6 volume control buttons. So when we are coming to the design, to the software, it's asking you of an external attenuator. All right. So here again, we come to our Google. We do this to our ATT603. This should give us what I want. And then I'll refer to this one. Okay. Okay, one second. I just want this one to open. And then I can close that page. I can open that photo, and then we'll be referring to these ones. So where the software is asking you for an external attenuator, all right, it's referring to these units. As you know, with the VM3000, with any voice alarm system, with any 100-volt alarm, 100-volt amplifier system, or a 70-volt amplifier system, you can also put external attenuators. Let's suppose the line is running in the passages, it goes into Omar's office, he has got a little speaker in there, you can put an external attenuator like this one, so that Emma, when he is having a phone call, when he's having a meeting, is able to reduce the volume of the speaker, okay, the volume of the sound from his office, or switch it completely off. So the system is asking you, do you have external attenuators connected to any of your 3 zones? If you have, you do this. Okay, is that a question coming through from Emma?
No, I was just answering that we don't have, of course.
Okay, good stuff. But if you do have, you can do this as you can just indicate here and say you have. You can see once you indicate this as all outputs, you are fixed, you are stuck with it. You cannot make changes. If you do this, however, each output, you can have an attenuator on zone 1. You might not have an attenuator on this one. So you can switch off, or you can tell the software that I only have 3 attenuators on zone 1, zone 3, and zone 5. Or I have an attenuator on zone 1 and zone 3, or I only have an attenuator on zone 1. So you choose each output to have control over the attenuators. You choose all outputs if they have got attenuators per every output. In Emma's case, we are not using the attenuators. Excellent. Then the last one on here, as we are preparing to go inside the program, is you need to tell the system whether or not you are using end-of-line modules. And we ever hardly sell them. We don't even use them much, because the problem is once you use them, you're putting an extra cost to your design, as well as maybe extra wiring to the end of line module. So we hardly ever use them. Since I've been here since 2011, I'm still yet to do a project. I think we've only done one project where with a VM3000, the consultant wanted an end of line module. All right, so it's not really necessary. So with Emma, he's not using it. You keep it clean and you say, okay, so we have basically told the system what we are going to use it. The only thing that we need to highlight, if you left click on your mouse, and you need to drag in, this is the fire mesh microphone, which Emma doesn't have. He's using an RM200MS or M. So you just drag that microphone and then put it to where you want it. I'll explain this one. So if you put it to the top slot, the microphone automatically gets given an ID number, okay? So if you put it to the top slot, this top slot on the VM3000 VA, you are actually referring to this part. You are referring to this one that says RM1 link in, RM1 link in. This on the software is represented by the box or by the RM connected to the top slot. If you drag your microphone and you put it on the software on the bottom slot, you are telling the system that you are going to physically connect your microphone to the RM2 link in. All right. Either of the two can be used. Okay. Either of the two can be used. What you need to be aware of, though, let me do this so that you can see. What you need to be aware of is making sure that the microphone is connected to the right slot physically. So Emma, if you program it like this, you have told the software that the microphone is connected to the top slot, which is this slot. If you go to site and you plug in your microphone on RM link number 2, what you are going to have is a headache, because every time you want to use the microphone, you'll hear the ding, 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 ding coming through, and then you can scream and shout. Your voice is not going to come through to the speakers until you physically connect the microphone to RM link 1. So it is important that if you are programming, you take special care where your microphone is supposed to be connected, number 1, and the ID number that the system is going to give to your microphone, number 2. I'll repeat. When you are doing the software programming, number 1, you need to make sure you take note of which of the 2 slots you are going to physically connect your microphone. You can use either or. And number 2, you need to take note of the ID number. Right. For instance, for Emma's job tomorrow, it's quite straightforward. The RM200MS does come on ID number 1 from the factory. So you can it's almost a plug and play. Just plug it to the right port and we can just proceed to do the event sequence, which is programming of the RM button. So for Emma's job tomorrow is just to connect the microphone onto RM link 1 if you are going to use it. According to the software that you are going to design it, the ID is already on ID number 1. If you are going to have the second microphone, then you need to do ID changes so that the system will not see 2 microphones with the same ID. It will throw a fault. Done. So that's the tip on the microphone. Right. Let's go into. We have told the system we've got 1 microphone. We have told the system there's 1 VA. There's no standby amplifiers. We don't have batteries. There's going to be 6 outputs for now until we start programming. So once you've gone through this section, right, what you then need to do, we are still under system. You need to double click into the microphone, into the amplifier. So double click into the amplifier, opens up the inside soft part of the software where we need to allocate information that relates to our design. Number 1, I always start with the right hand side top column where it says audio output. Guys, this becomes confusing if you don't name things. So I trust that you guys, as you are programming something, always name it until you are used to what this code means. Then you can leave it as it is. But do take due diligence that if you are working on a site, you might not be the next person who's going back to do site work. It's always nice to name everything to help your colleagues that if they go to site with their laptop and they download whatever is on site, they'll be able to know immediately what it is that you have done. Let's have a look. So we have outputs, number 1, number 2, number 3. This is referring to your speaker lines. If I close this one by clicking in here, you see it says VA-output 1 up to VA-output number 6. If I double click into my amplifier, this is where it's saying VA output number 1. So I don't know physically the areas that are, or the zones that Emma is going to work with. So to make my life easier, I'm going to label them as area number 1. So this is where you physically name your areas. So if your area number 1 was the entrance, you would say entrance. If your area number 1 was the first floor, you would say first floor. If your area number 3 is the corridor, this is where you name it. So I'll just say area number 1, number 2, and area number 3. Okay, I hope so far so clear. So I will put a hash here on the last one, just to take out that code that I don't like, because Emma is going to use area 1, area 2, area 3, or zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and then number 4, 5, 6 is not going to collect anything. So I've just put it a hash as a standby character as a standby character. Let me do this. Sorry, let me put my shift key. I can do Control A, Control C. All right. So I've cleaned out my outputs. Let's have a look at what my system displays. I come back and click here. This is how you have named your zones. So meaning to say, Emma, you are going to program this thing tomorrow. And next week you get sent somewhere. And then you need to Patricia to go there. She was not there when you programmed. Neither can she access your configuration file that you have done. So all you need to tell is no, just to make sure your laptop is on range of 192.168.14.1. So here laptop can be number 2, number 3, going onwards up to number 255. So she gets to site, she will download the information. As soon as she downloads, this information will come to her with exactly what you have typed. So she will know if the client is complaining that there's no sound in area number 2. By merely looking at this, she knows, oh, area number 2 is speaker line connected to this VM on output number 2. So she will check what has gone wrong. Is there a broken cable? Is there a short circuit? Is there an open circuit? She can quickly do that. Okay. It's nice to name things. That's the point. Right, let's go back inside the amplifier. You can do a double click and do a single click. We have named our outputs, right? Also, now the system is going to ask you for these things. So I'm going to move this one to one side. So it always does this for some reason. Always does this for some reason. Let's do that one. At least maybe that's better. Just one more slide. Right. You will see here, there's audio input over here. We are now dealing with the left side of our programming. There's audio input 1, 2, 3, 4. There's BGM 1, there's BGM 2, there's microphone. So audio input 1, 2, 3, and 4 physically on the amplifier is this one. This is audio input. If you are looking at the rear of the amplifier, you have audio input number 1, audio input number 2, audio input number 3. You have BGM 1, BGM number 2, and then you have got audio input, other audio input number 4. Okay, you can see it over here. Hopefully, this is audio input number 4. So you have 4 times analog audio inputs plus 2 BGM inputs. So this is audio input number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, BGM 1, BGM 2. As you see it, audio input number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, BGM 1, BGM number 2. Once again, I don't know if there's going to be BGM that Emma is going to use. If there's going to be BGM, we'll do this. So let's clean up our file. I'll put a hash key. This is Excel, so you can do that, and you can just, if you have got your hash key already copied, you can just do the shortcut Control V. And then I have my BGM 1. So if I am going to physically connect an FM tuner in the future, I can tell it you are going to be FM tuner, and this one is going to be my CD player, right? I've just programmed for future. So what I'm saying is, I'm not going to hash here, a hash here, same as here, hash on input number 4. These 4 I am saying by the hash, according to me, I am saying yeah for future use, all right? And then I am also saying BGM 1 in the future. We can connect an FM tuner, BGM 2. In future, you can connect a CD player, right? Coming again to that question that we discussed, Patricia.
Question?
Is that a question?
Yes. Now, for the BGM 1 and 2, I don't know if I don't program it as of now, and yet maybe they only have one connection, will it affect whenever someone comes and connects? So if the program doesn't recognize it, will not work. Is that what it means?
No, it doesn't affect anything at all.
Okay.
It doesn't affect anything. You can even leave it blank here if you want. As soon as you plug in a CD player and then you choose it from the front, you'll be able to, let me do this. If you plug in a CD player over here on BGM1 for argument's sake, and yet it's programmed for FM tuner, this naming does not relate to anything. It's just for you to know what you want to connect with. So I can connect a CD player here, but it's labeled as FM tuner. It will still play as FM tuner. If I have this one connected, plugged in for CD, labeled for CD, and I plug in an FM tuner, the system will not know you are now an FM tuner, you're a CD player. Whatever music comes through here, it will still play it. Okay, so what is important to note is from the front of the unit over here, from the front of the unit, you have a BGM select on button number 1, this one, BGM. You need to select this button to choose either BGM1 or BGM number 2. Because the system is a single bus, you cannot play 2 different BGM sources in a VM3000 to 2 different outputs at any given time. You can only play one or the other. I'll repeat. With a VM3000, when you have 2 music sources connected, you cannot play both of them to 2 different outputs. You can only play one music source to one output at any given time. This is why you have a BGM 1 and 2 select button in front of the VM3000. All right. Okay, so here naming will not affect it, Emma, do not affect it. And then I hope you're okay for now. Here is where we need to this is telling us in our system, I have a single RM200M-MS microphone, and this connected as ID number 1, right? If there's a question, you can chat with me. If you're okay, it's fine. All right. So the microphone name is RM200M1, right? RM200M1. If this microphone is going to sit at the reception, right? This is where you name the area where you're going to deploy the microphone. So here I've told my system that the microphone is going to be called reception because purely it's going to sit at the reception. And over here, all right, I need you to pay special attention. Under the microphone tab, you can change the name, right? Default, the software will not allocate a single tone, excuse me, a 2-tone, a 4-tone, or a gong to your microphone. That ding, 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 you need to choose here. If you don't do it, the moment you press the green button, you'll be able to do your zone selection, talk to your zones, but that ding, ding, ding sound will not come because you have told it start chime is none. So what you do, you come under start chime, you choose a single tone, you choose a 2-tone, you choose the common familiar one, most common one, 4-tone, or you choose a gong. So we leave it at 4-tone. So what we have done, we have named the microphone. We have told the microphone every time we want to use the talk green button, you must always produce or emit a 4-tone sound in the speakers. Okay. Right. I hope you guys are happy. You need to scroll down the program. Just scroll down the program. You can come on the scroll bar here. You scroll down the program. Now we are dealing with control inputs. There's 8 general control inputs. There's 6 emergency control input. So for Emma tomorrow, we are going to connect this system to the fire detection system, to the FDS, to your fire panel. You would need to use the emergency. So the general control inputs are hardly ever used. And if we go back to the VM3000, at the back of it, let's take, you will see there's almost in the center, okay, not in the center really, but you will see a 4-port RJ45 socket, right? The top ones, these ones where my mouse is, the top ones, number 1 represents 4 control triggers, dry control triggers that you can connect to your fire panel relays. The next slot represents 2 extra emergency control triggers that you can terminate to your fire panel. I'll come back and explain this in detail. The bottom one is a status output, which represents a relay closing that you can use to switch on and off strobe lights on site whenever the VM3000 is playing an alert or an evac message. There is a DS link. If you had a DS connected with the batteries, this is where you determine your DS with the Cat5 cable so that the DS can report the status of charge of the batteries, how the batteries are behaving. This is communicated via this DS port. Of interest for tomorrow, where we are programming now, we have got 6 emergency controls, okay? Let's take a Cat5 patch cable and we cut one side off, we strip our cables and we plug the other cable in here. Right, let's take it. The first 2 colors will be orange and orange-white pair. That will represent control number 1. So let me do this. I'll write here CTL1 on the forum. I'll write CTL1 representing control trigger number 1. This will be the orange stroke, orange again, white pair. Please take note of this. You will need it when you are terminating this to the fire panel. You will need this information. Okay. So the first cable, which is when you have cut your other side of your patch cable, you will have the orange, white pair that represents control input number 1. Okay, I will explain. You will see or notice why I am spending time on this later on. Let me do this and do the second control input. So control input number 2 will be the green and green-white pair. That will represent control input number 2. Let me give you that information. The third control input is your blue. Okay, so control input number 3, according to the Cat5 cable that will have cut off. What I'm going to do is explain this one a little bit later after typing. Right, you will have that one. And lastly, the last 2 pairs of cable in that Cat5, which will represent control input number 4, will be your brown, white pair. So I'll come back to this just when I finish up everything, then I'll come back to explain this one relating to what we are dealing with. So on the first RJ45 cable over here, you will have by default 4 triggers that you can connect to the 4 relays from your fire panel. The first trigger will be orange, white pair. That will be trigger number 1. Green, white pair will be trigger number 2. Blue, white pair will be trigger number 3. Brown, white pair will be trigger number 4. That is your 4 colors, your 8 cables in one Cat5 cable, patch cable, done. What it means is, if I program my trigger number 1 to do an alert, I just need to strip the orange and the orange, white pair and touch them together. Immediately, the VM3000 will go into emergency and start playing an alert message. This is how you connect to the fire panel. On your fire panel, I don't know what fire panel is on site. If it's a Zyton fire panel with a Zyton relay, we can always relate to these relays and show you physically how you connect them to the cables. Let's do this so that you guys can see what I'm trying to explain. This is a very common image of a Zyton relay. As you notice here on the Zyton relay, you do have, let me see if I can open a bigger picture. So you don't have to worry yourself much about the physical connection over here, Emma. All you need to do is worry with what cable goes where. So I will explain this in detail once we are doing the fire panel trigger programming. Later on in the program, we'll be coming to this relay. This relay has got 2 sides. One is a normally closed and one is a normally open. So our system can use either or. You can have the fire panel in the normally closed. As soon as the relay opens, it starts playing an evac or alert message, or you can have the relay on the normally open, which is very common with most people. And when the relay closes, it will then activate an alert or an evac message to start off in the VM3000. We'll come back to this as we proceed. So here now, what I was explaining, there's general input number 1 to general input number 8. These are general inputs. They are hardly ever used. We hardly ever use them. And they are available. This you see, if you look here, there's G1, G2, G3, then you have a G4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for Emma, these ones don't use them because we're not going to use them. We normally use them when we want a music source on input number 4, number 1, number 2, number 3 to come through our system when we push the button to activate it. So for now, it's of no essence. We are not going to use it for Emma, but just know in the back of your mind that you can always use them. They are available. Here is what we are going to use. Emergency input. We only have 4 on in 1 and 2 on in 2. Let me emphasize this. If you take the same cable and you plug it to control input number 2, you are only going to get 2 more control input, not 4. So let me type this information because I will share this with you. So on control in 2, I will say bracket emergency, so that I can explain emergency. Right. Here's what we are going to do. I'll copy this one so that I can share with you. Then I'll explain what I'm doing. You'll also have that one, which now becomes number 5. And I can paste that one and I will explain. You will have the brown-white pair, which becomes control input number 6. So I'll explain in detail. I'll cover everything from the control input number 1 so that we clear out all the gray areas. Then I will show you. Right. If you can see what I'm typing on the chat column. So what I'm saying is, if you take the same cable that we had here, which is the orange-white as control input number 1, the green is control input number 2, the blue pair control input number 3, the brown pair and control input number 4. If you take the same cable and you push it into here, only the orange one will work as control input number 5, and the brown pair will work as control input number 6. This is where you have, this is why I was saying you only have 6 emergency controls and 8 general. So under emergency, you got only 6, which means per VM, you can terminate a maximum of 6 relays from the fire panel under emergency. This is what I was trying to stress out. And the 6th one here, which is your brown-white pair, is not dry conduct. It requires 24 volts for it to be active. These ones, from number 1 to number 5, you just need the 2 cables to touch together. It's a dry conduct. So you touch the 2 cables together, the system goes into emergency mode. Number 6, you need a 24 volt for it to work. All right. So I just wanted to make sure that you are aware of that. So this is what I was referring to. Let's go back to our program and continue. So this icon, guys, this is where you spend most of the time programming. The rest is a flip through. It's quite straightforward. Just a click, 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 and you are done. So let's finish up on here. So number 1 to number 6, if you are doing the same, please just put a hash key. So just put a hash key for me. Let me do Control A, Control C, and then I can paste this one. So I'm just going to clean up my file so that it represents what Emma is going to do on site. So you can clean up, you can leave it. Patricia, Emma, you can leave these codes as they are. The system will work very well. The only thing is when you are programming, if you're not sure of what this means, then you'll be stuck. Same as control outputs under general control outputs, there's 8 control outputs. This is what the system is referring to. There's control output here, as you can see, 4 of them and another 4. So there's 8 general control inputs plus 8 general control output, which we are now programming. Control output general, I'm going to put a hash key because I am going to use any of them. So control output from number 1 to 8, as I've said, these are the general ones on the green Phoenix plug, not on the other J45. So this is what we are cleaning. We are not going to use them. We're just putting a hash key over there and we should be sorted. Okay, so let me do that. Control A, Control C. So I'm just cleaning this for us. And right, I'm done. So I hope you're done as well. So we have just cleaned up our program. Then we need now to program according to what Emma told me. He needs to have access of triggering this system automatically from the fire panel. Now from the fire panel, we're dealing with these 6 control inputs that I've just mentioned. That will be on the Cat5. So you would need to have a Cat5 cable, Emma, terminated on one side, cut off the other plug on the other side. You push in your Cat5 on here, you push in, for you, just use one. For you, just use one. So we are going to program 3 relays over here. So we are going to program the orange. We are going to program the orange white, the orange pair, the green pair, and the blue pair. The brown one, we are not going to use it because we only need 3 triggers. If we needed more, we are going to program everything that we need. So let's program the orange one. We want the orange one to do an alert all. So which means this relay will be responsible for playing an alert message to all our areas. The second relay will be doing an evacuation all. So once that relay is fired or is switched on from the fire panel on the double knock, then we are able to evacuate everyone. Then the last relay, which is our third relay on here, we are going to do an emergency reset. Then I'm going to clean up number 4, number 5, and number 6, because I am not going to use them. All right, I think it's making sense. We are making progress. If for any reason you guys need me to explain anything, I'm not in a rush to go anywhere. It will be a privilege to share that information with you. Just let me know. I will then show you or explain to you what you need to do. So what I've done, I've just told the system, I know from the information that I was giving you, this is going to be my orange white pair. This is going to be my green white pair. And this is going to be my, sorry, I got disturbed. Sorry, guys. This is going to be my blue white pair. So I've done my 3 relay preparations now. All right. So I'm moving again to the last section here. Under emergency, so this is control output general. This is control output emergency. Control output emergency is physically on the amplifier where I am circling status output. This is, there's a built-in relay with a common, normally open, normally closed port. This is your brown, white. So this is your green, brown, and brown white colors. You don't have to worry about this. You'll hardly ever use them. And for Emma's project tomorrow, you're not going to use them. What it means is, if you activate this relay, you can connect it to strobe light such that whenever the VM3000 is doing an alert or an evac, the relay comes on, it can switch on and off external horns or external strobe lights. So for my program, I'm going to just call it strobes. You don't have to do it, Emma. You can just put a hash there, and relay number 2 and relay number 3, I'm just going to push a hashtag just to say you're not going to be used here for future use. So even if I do the same here and I just put a hash for Emma, this will be good because he's not going to use it. In the future, if you want to use strobes, you would then use the relay to switch on and off your strobes whenever the system is in alert or in evac. So let's clean up our file. This is what our file looks like. From the top, I've got my 3 areas. I've got my inputs labeled, my microphone, my 4-tone chime for the microphone. I'm not using any general control inputs. I'm only using the orange, the green, the blue pairs for my alert, evac, and reset respectively. I'm using none of my control outputs. Or neither am I using my general control outputs, 8 of them, nor am I using any of my 3 available emergency control outputs. I'm not using anything. So the file right now is clean, right? We have done everything on the file. We have programmed under system. What we now need to do is to move to surveillance. So I am going to click. You can do the same if you are following. Click on surveillance. That orange icon is going to go to surveillance. If, Emma, you had batteries and a DS on site, you then activate time to monitor your batteries and DS, and then you tick here where it says charging equipment. for monitoring. So for Emma's program for tomorrow, we are going to have a group called RM fault or faults, however you want to mention it. So under this group, I'm going to tick my remote microphone. So what I'm saying is I want my VM to always monitor my remote microphone. If somebody disconnects the remote microphone for any reason, it will then throw a fault in the system. That fault will be logged, date and time stamped. Then when Emma goes to site after 1 week, he can pull out the log file and he will say to the client, we are charging you, say, for this because I can see that on the 2nd of July at 10 o'clock midnight, somebody disconnected this microphone from the system. It was only reconnected at 5 a.m. the following morning. So for me driving out, we charge you. It's not our problem. It's your problem. It's your user's problem. All right. So this is why I want you guys to learn to always create as many different fault patterns so that as soon as the VM picks up the fault, it is logged, date and time stamped, as well as when the VM is in operation. If you look on the front VU here, it will be able to tell you exactly where the problem, it will say RM false. Then whoever sees here, you can ask him, okay, you are on site. What is it saying? It is saying RM for, then you know, before you even leave the office, maybe let me carry with me a spare RM just in case I've got any faulty RM. But your mindset, you will know, I need to carry a spare RM. I need to carry a few RJ45s plugs because somebody might have pulled the cable. I might need to recrimp it. Okay, so it is good to always label these patterns. First pattern is RM fault. Second pattern, this label, we want to be able to monitor. Right? Surveillance number 2, we call it EV pattern. EV refers to electronic voice. These are your messages. So just tick on emergency EV. So the system will be able to monitor your alert and your evac message for any file corruption. Once the files gets corrupted, immediately to throw a fault to say EV false. So all you need to do, bring your laptop back on site, down again or upload again your same messages, the system will be cleared of faults, and you know you have a healthy system that is working. The next thing that we are going to do, we are going to do what we call speaker line. So I'll go type SPK1 for zone 1. So under zone 1, I'll tick that one and the 8th fault. Right, let's do this so I explain. So my other group, surveillance group number 3, the system is just going to monitor zone 1 speaker line for a short circuit, open circuit, or an 8th leakage fault. So that's speaker 1. Let's copy that one across to the next table. I will do another one. This one is speaker line number 2, which is my zone 2. I'll tick zone 2. I'll tick that one. Then I'll do my last one on the speaker line for zone 3. I'll then tick that one. And I also tick for zone 3, and I'll tick also the 8th. Because there's nothing physically connected on my amplifier, according to Emma, on zone 4, zone 5, and zone 6, I leave these ones alone. Because the moment you tick it and you don't connect anything, it's going to throw an open circuit fault because it's not seeing any load. Similarly, for 5, similarly for number 6. Okay, I've created my general patterns now, right? So I've done my pattern. You can do as many as you like to monitor, Emma. You are not limited to this. I just gave you this as an example. But don't tick battery. Don't tick charging. So don't tick battery. Don't create a fault pattern for batteries or for charging equipment, because charging equipment, you would need a VX2000 DS power supply, and then you would need physically to have batteries on site. Otherwise, this system is going to be on fault 24/7, 365. So I've created a few patterns for you here, which we can expand on when you get to site. For the lazy ones, which you guys don't have, for some of my lazy clients, they normally create one pattern and tick everything and dump it into the VM3000. All right, it will work, but the problem is it will not distinguish which of the faults the system is picking. It will just say fault. So you will need to bring your laptop to site and download the file and try and work with your laptop to pick up what exactly is the fault. So it is nice to create different fault groups, different faulty patterns so that the system can tell you, I am displaying this fault because I am seeing an open circuit or a short circuit on speaker line number 3, and you can deal with that speaker line. You don't have to worry about a lot of things. All right. Hopefully, we are on path. If you guys are okay, we'll continue. If you need a break, please do share with me. We can always go for a 2-minute breather if you want. All right. If you are happy, let's go forward. So we have done our surveillance. So surveillance, in other terms, means monitoring. So whenever you are doing surveillance, let me type it, you are telling the system what to look for. So it means monitoring. So whatever you create a group of surveillance, you're basically creating a monitoring group where the system will monitor those things for any faults. If it does pick up a fault, it then records and tells you there's a fault. So the surveillance means faults. So once we have done the surveillance, the next icon we need to do is to go to the next icon that says priority. There's very little that you do on this. By default, probably 90%, 95% of all my clients, they never tamper with this one. They just leave it as it is. So you have got 2 priority settings that you do. One is under general. Under general, as you see, it will bring those hashes. Can you see them? EV126, your reception microphone, your FM tuner, your CD player. The beauty of naming things. So what it is saying is basically your background music on BGM1 and BGM2. This is given the very least priority. Any source that will connect to input number 1 to 4, any voice messages that would play like a COVID announcement message that is going to be dumped here and you can play it. These are treated as priority input number 6, and then your reception microphone is given a higher priority. What it means is, if you are playing background music and you initiate any of these inputs, they will override background music. If you are playing background music and you initiate any one of these, and then the receptionist wants to make an announcement, she or he will have overall system override because they have the highest priority. This is under general. Then we move to the second icon, and under general, we are working on either you can choose FIFO, you can choose LIFO. Right. These 2 patterns, FIFO means first in, first out. LIFO means last in, first out. What it means is, if I am the one that is already playing as input number 1, okay, I'm using LIFO, I'm playing, and input number 2, which has got the same priority as me, tries to make an announcement. Because he's the last in, you will override input number 1 and make an announcement. And once that input has finished the announcement, then you can then you go back to input number 1. That's LIFO. So LIFO means last one in of the same priority or higher priority takes over control of the system. FIFO means the first one in the system will hold the system until another input of higher priority comes in, or it will hold the system until it finishes. The other input of the same priority will then be allowed to make announcements. Okay, that's what it means by LIFO, FIFO. This applies both to general and emergency. So the next icon, just click on emergency again. Once again, there's no need to change anything. As you can see, there's nothing can change. The system will just give you these parameters. Okay, what the system is telling you, James, Emma, you're going to say tomorrow. What the system is telling you is just this side. All right. What the system is telling you that the fireman's microphone built on front, he has got a level, input level number 2, which means this is the highest under emergency, followed by the evacuation button or a message, followed by the reset message. What it means is, if my system is in emergency mode, I can use the microphone, I can use the evac, I can alert. However, if I am alerting, if I press the button here, I'll be able to override alert message and talk into the zones. Similarly, if I am evacuating and I press the talk button on the microphone, I'll be able to override the evac button, or the evac message, and talk into the zones. If I am alerting and I want now to evacuate, I just need to hit evac because alert is of lower priority. The system will be able to override the if alert and then evacuate. So what the system is telling you is this, that by default, your fireman's microphone is the highest priority, followed by evacuation, followed by your alert. All right, so this one is good. I've explained it. There's nothing you can change. You can click onto the system. There's nothing you can change. However, both general and emergency, you will see there's this icon written bypass, bypass, bypass. Okay, some under emergency, you will see bypass, bypass, enable at the end. What this means is, if you look into this one, where it says bypass internal is referring to this, where it says enable master volume is referring to this. What it means is, if your system is set to bypass internal, bypass external, okay, rear, and then activate or enable master, it means if you are bypassing the internal and the external, it means even if I'm broadcasting, if I try and adjust this volume, the system will not respond because it is bypassed. If I go to my office and adjust this volume, even if I put it to 0, the system will not respond. It will still keep it on maximum because it is bypassed. But if I then say master volume enabled, then I'll be able to adjust the master volume. And by adjusting the master volume, the volume of that speaker line will be activated. So I can turn the volume here. It will have an effect on the output of any of my speakers because it is enabled. This is what the software is referring to, right? So as you see under general, you do have an enabled, but on the reception microphone, as you see, it's bypassed, which means if the reception microphone is making too much noise or too much volume, or it's very high, people are complaining, you cannot use the master volume to adjust the volume of the reception microphone. You can only do this on the back of the microphone itself. There's a little port that you find there. Use a small terminal flat screwdriver and reduce that volume on the microphone that's built onto the microphone. All right, let's go back to our program. We are about to, let's go back to our program. I was explaining what these blue things, the bypass, enable means, right? We were just done emergency here, just to tell you what this refers to. And now we are going to do our zone. Right, let's do our zone. Remember, my zone 1 is area 1, my zone 2 is area 2, my zone 3 is area 3. This is according to these names, okay? This is area 1, area 2, area 3. This is the amplifier outputs. Let's go back to where we were. Let's go under zone. So zone 1 is area 1. So I can double click onto that word and just name it. You don't have to, like I've said again, I'm repeating, you don't have to. You can keep it as it is, but it is always nice to name things. So my number 2 is going to be area 2. My number 3, you can copy and paste the first one and edit if you want. It's going to be area number 3. Okay. Okay, so far so good, guys. Somebody give me feedback. Are you guys so far? Good. Excellent. All right. So Emma, on tomorrow's program, as you will notice, you have got 3 areas, but as you will notice, we also have a green light on number 4, a green light on number 5, a green light on number 6. What I encourage you to do, especially for your program, just switch off the green lights on number 4, number 5, number 6. So the system becomes only a 3-zone active. Meaning to say, if you come to the system, to the connections here, on the back of your system, if you connect zone 1 here, zone 2, zone 3, if you plug anything on zone 4, zone 5, zone 6, because on the software we have switched it off, there will not be any sound coming out. Okay, if you want sound to come out, you just click on zone 4, zone 5, zone 6, and then you put a hashtag there to just say it's for future use. So I prefer switching them off because I am not going to use them. Okay, so this is one way of cleaning it. or you can put a hash and then just switch off those three. As you also notice, okay, if you scroll down on the program, right at the end, the bottom of the program, there's always zone 90. If you double click on it, name it or label it all call. By default, zone 90 is an all call. And as you see, Emma, you will see there's zone 4, zone 5, zone 6. Because you are doing a 3-zone system, you can switch them off, or if you want, you can just leave them as they are. It doesn't really affect anything. Okay. So what it means is whenever I call an all call, it means I am going to be broadcasting sound to all these 6 outputs. But because you're going to physically connect 3 outputs, you can disable number 4, number 5, number 6. You can leave them on, you can disable them. I can leave them on for now. Okay. Are you guys okay? I hope you are happy. So you also remember, I told you the VM3000 can only do 60 zones. So a lot of my clients do phone me and say, yeah, you were lying to us. We have caught you obvious. You were lying. How come on the software I've discovered, they normally use this name, I've discovered that I can do zone 61 to zone 90. So you told us that the VM3000 can do 60 zones. You were wrong. It can do 90 zones. The truth is, I am not wrong. It actually does 60 zones. However, you can do zone 61 to zone 89 as a combinational zone. Right. Let me explain what this means. Default, Emma, you have here 3 zones that are going to be active. All right. I can come here and create a virtual zone called, let's create one virtual zone called A1 plus 2, meaning to say I'm going to create a special zone where A1 is always linked to A2. For example, let's take an example where we have a factory setup. We have the reception as area 1. We have the production area as area 2. We have the dispatch area as area 3. So you can combine, for example, production and dispatch as 2 areas like this, okay? Like this, such that if I am sitting at the reception, I'm looking for somebody, either I know this person must be in production or must be in dispatch. Instead of calling in production and calling in dispatch, I just create a single button where I can call those 2 areas once at any given time. So this is where we create zone 61 to zone 89. And this is why we have a zone 90, which is an all call zone. All right. So I'm not lying. It happens. Okay, let's do this. So I'm not going to do that for Emma. It's not necessary, but I just wanted to show you this. I'm going to switch it off on our file. So we're keeping things standard as they are. All right. So having done this on the zonage or on your zoning, you pretty much have programmed a system that has got 3 individual areas plus an all call for those 3 areas. This is under zone. As I told you, the VM is really straightforward to program. Okay, you just need to follow this sequence. Where you program much is over here. After doing the zoning like this, you are happy with the zoning. We now need, let me scroll up. We now need to do the event. What is an event? An event is, in a nutshell, an input that gets triggered, processed, and told to broadcast to an output. So an event is something that tells us, do this, you do this to this zone. So let's take, for example, our RM200 MS microphone. Okay. Let's our RM200 MS microphone. So the event is pressing the button, right? The function becomes, what is the button meant to do? Then the process is output the volume or output the sound to a zone. Okay, let's do the programming and we'll be relating to this microphone. Right, firstly, there's general settings. Remember what we were typing? This is general input. As you can see, control input, the green Phoenix plug, control input number 1 to number 8. This one, control input number 1. We are not using them. These are available on the exchange as well, on the expansion unit as well. Let me see. There they are. So the only difference between the rear of the expansion is you have BGM input 1 and 2, record output, plus input 1, 2, 3, 4. So, sorry, input 1, 2, 3. That's the only difference between these two units. That section is not available on the expansion unit. So let's go to our program as we are relating to these pictures. So general input number 1 to 6 is referring to those general inputs. So we told them we are not going to use you. So we're not going to worry and waste time on it. The next one is going to be emergency input. Emergency input. This is why I was saying, guys, it is always important to label things from the beginning. Here comes up our emergency inputs. We told the system we are going to use the orange-white pair for alert, or the green-white pair for evac, or the blue-white pair for reset. All right. So here is the function that we want to do, and we'll put in some contents. Before I go into this, all right, under the event section, you can do general settings, general program. You do emergency. This is for the fire panel. You do RM. This is for the RM, the buttons where you need to press a button to talk to a particular zone. So general refers to general functions, which we hardly ever use. And then the emergency is where we use it most. So I'm going to program 3 functions here, one an alert all, evac all, a reset all, and then we are going to program similarly on the buttons for our microphones. All right, let's go back to emergency. Under emergency by default, please, Emma, Patricia, please pay attention. Whenever you see this, don't touch it, don't click it. You can, but don't click it. The reason why I'm saying don't click it, let's come back to our VA, the front, so that you guys can relate. You see this button called emergency, evac, alert, reset, these buttons that you see here, right? If we go into the software, these buttons are being represented by this. This is the red button, the evac button, the alert button, the reset button. The evac, emergency start, the evac, the alert, and the reset. So the software is saying, if there's a green icon there, if you click on it, it turns like gray. Can you see it? It has gone off. What it means, if I upload this file after doing my program, okay, if I upload this file back to the VM3000, when the VM3000 reboots and switches back on, these buttons, these 4 buttons will be deactivated. They will never work until you go back into the software and you tick them to be green. You save your file, you upload this file back to the VM3000, then these buttons will then start again to operate. So it is important that you leave them green, don't turn them gray. If you turn them gray, what it means is you have deactivated the front emergency control section, but if you connect this system to the fire panel, the emergency alert evac will still work as well as the reset. So you have only deactivated these from the front panel. All right, let's go back to our software. Here's where we are on the software side. We are doing emergency. So let's choose a function here. So where it says disable, we are telling it that you do not be functional, don't be used. So we want to use this one. So we want to do an alert message under here. So you click on the disable, so on the drop down button. The system, excuse me, will give you these options. For example, the first one is an alert. You can choose an alert pulse and you can choose an alert level. I'll explain between the two. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting a dry throat. I'll take a breather for 2 minutes and have something to drink. So here, there's 2 options that I want you to be critical and careful. If you choose to use the alert pulse, what it means is when your fire panel relay closes, it needs to close for at least 5 seconds. And when it has done so, the system will start to play the alert message until another pulse comes through to either evacuate or reset. The problem is with this setup, if the system picks up an alert and starts alerting people, and somebody goes to the fire panel and resets the fire panel, the VM3000 is not going to be reset. It's going to continue to play that message until somebody comes to the front of the VM and presses the reset button. Okay, that will be a problem. All right, that will be a problem. So what you would ideally want is a situation where if from the fire panel I'm playing an alert on the single knock, my relay is playing an alert, okay? And then I go to the fire panel and reset my fire panel, the VM3000 becomes reset as well. So you're resetting both systems, the VM3000 and your fire panel. To do this, you then choose alert level like this. As soon as you choose alert level, it's going to ask you mode. Mode is referring to your relay to say your relay that you are dealing with, this one, are you connecting the orange white pair to the normally closed, or you are connecting the orange and the orange white pair to the normally open? So in this case, you will have your orange cable coming here, for example, and your orange white over here. So if you are using the normal open side of your relay, then in the software, you leave it as normally open. If you are using the normally closed side of the relay to terminate your orange white or orange cable, you use normally closed. Okay, that's the difference. So the system is just saying my relay, must it be a normally open signal or a normally closed trigger signal? Once you've done this, default is normally open, which is very common with most installations. You need to go to contents. Contents number 1 is where it's telling you whenever we are doing this alert command, which area must it go to? You can choose a specific area that it only plays in your area 1 or zone 1, or you can say, I want, whenever there's an alert, I want it to go to all my speakers. So you then choose an all call or all zone, which is your zone 90. However, let's take a look at contents number 2. Contents number 2, by default, this is on silence. What it means is, if on this fire panel, they send me a trigger on single knock to play an alert message in my system, what it means is, if somebody goes to the fire panel and resets the fire panel, this one will then take that command and it will not it will not reset the emergency sequence, but the system will go into silence mode. What it means is, if you were playing an alert message, right? You were playing an alert message, your system was red, okay? So this one, it will be red. You'll be seeing the buttons will be turning to red, and then you were playing an alert message. What it will do here, it will not say alert, it will say silence. So the system will stay in emergency, but it won't be broadcasting any alert message or any voice until you physically reset it. That's what the system is saying. So let's go back. So what I would want you, Emma, to do tomorrow is always use emergency reset. What you are saying is, whenever the relay is closed, okay, the system will play an alert. The moment you reset your fire panel, the system will automatically reset. So that's the best way to use it. Right. Number 2, let's do an evac. So we want to choose, once again, you can choose an evacuation pulse, which is what I've explained, or you can choose an alert evacuation level, which is similar to what we have just done. So evacuation level is what I recommend. Check with your fire panel whether it's a normal open connection or a normally closed connection. Choose where you want your evac to go, a specific zone or to all areas, and then come over here. Just make sure that you choose emergency reset. Control output number 2 refers to status output. It refers to this one, status output. If you want a strobe to come on, you can then map it to that control output number 2. So it's not necessary, but if you do have strobe lights in future, you can then say here, just use all. For example, it would mean the status output of here will always be switched on. And then whenever the system is in emergency mode, that relay will close. That relay will then trigger on external strobe lights. So in this case, I'm going to say disabled. Right. In a nutshell, Emma, Patricia, this is how you program a VM3000 to talk to your fire panel. All right. Then we are going to do the last one under emergency, our relay, which we are really not going to use, but can be used. So normally by resetting your fire panel, you reset over here. You can also have what you call a global reset, which is a relay on the fire panel that can do your reset. So what you do, you click on here and just choose emergency reset. You are done. So I have 3 color coded cables that will do the following. If I take the 2 cables, the orange, white, attach them together, the system will go into emergency alert. As soon as I remove the link, the system will reset itself. If I take the green and green white cable, touch them together, the system will start to evacuate. As soon as I remove the touch, then the system will reset. If the system is evacuating and I press the blue white pair, the system will automatically reset. But if this link is still on, it will then go back to the alert or go back to the evac. So this is how you program the system to connect to the fire panel. I've spent a bit of time on here because I know you're going to do it. Right. Before we go to the remote microphone, which is our last icon to program, let's take a look at this information here. It is saying VM3000 VA stroke E, and it says VA, then it says there's an attention tone here. Then by default, it says not used. What we are referring to is the microphone. We are saying if the microphone, the system is in emergency, and you press the talk button on the microphone, do you want the talk button, do you want the system to produce a single turn or not? So if you say yes, you will hear every time you press the emergency microphone, the one that's built in front of the system, whenever you are talking into the system, you'll hear a ding before you start speaking. So this one only works on a gong, and either no sound, no chime, or a gong. So what the software is asking you basically over here is, do you want to use that chime or a gong before you use the front mount microphone? In most cases, by default, it's not used because it's an emergency microphone. But once again, it depends on you. It depends on your client. It is available if you need it. Okay. The last icon that we are going to deal with in our program is remote key setting. This now is doing the remote reception microphone. If I had more than one microphone here, if I click on the drop-down arrow, they'll be listed. So you can choose which microphone to start programming. So in our case, we are going to program these microphone buttons. I need to bring something to your attention. Probably, Emma, you already know, Patricia, and who else is on the program? The RM200 MS, right? We have got 2 variations. We have the RM200M, usually called MS. We have the RM200M-AL. Okay, those are the 2 variations of the RM that we use with the VM3000. Let's tackle them. The straight RM200MS that you're going to program, Emma, on site tomorrow, the left side does not work. The red button, the 3 associate buttons on your left-hand side where my mouse is, you can never program them. These do not work by default. So whether you want to try and evacuate people from here, they do not work. Okay. You can only program the right-hand side of the microphone. You cannot program the left-hand side. This is because the RM200M-MS was primarily designed to work with the VM2000 series. So on the VM2000 series, all the buttons work. This microphone was then adopted because we didn't want to produce a whole brand new microphone on the VM3000 series. So the left-hand side on the VM3000 does not work, but the same left hand on the VM2000 series, it works. That's the difference. All right. If your client needs the red button to be active, to be able to evacuate people, then you need to buy the RM200M-AL. So let me type this one to you. RM200MS. Then I say here, left side, so that I have them on records. Left side buttons do not work. Okay. Then RM-200M-AL. Then I do this left side, then comma only only the red flap covered button works. Okay, I'll explain. So what I'm saying is, if you do get the variant, the other variant, which is the RM200M-AL, your left side, only the red flap covered button will then work. In other words, if you hit it, you'll be able to evacuate people. But what I need you to know, as soon as the RM200M-AL starts evacuating people, you cannot come to this microphone and use it to page into the zones. Neither can you do so with the RM200MS. The only way to be able to talk over the microphone is to use the front mount fireman's microphone. When the system is emergency, you select the zones that you want to talk to, you press the talk button, you'll be able to talk into it. Other than this, you have to use the RM300MF, which is a VM3000 fireman's microphone. All right. So I've explained this one in detail. The left hand side does not work. Let's go to the software. This is why you can label the left hand side. Okay, as you see here, other functions is grayed out. There's nothing you can allocate. You can allocate R1, which means the right hand first button, second button, all the way through to button number 10. Right. Let's do some work. We have 3 areas. Okay, which, Emma, I want you to name them when you get to site. Please ask these 3 areas, what are their real names? Put the real names in. For example, I'll go back to my program and say, the button number 1, I want you to do area number 1. I can do that. And I can do area number 2 over here. I can do area number 3. Those are my 3 areas. Right. So I've chosen to do area 1, area 2, area 3. All right. Button number 4, I can say you're going to be a test message. So if I am testing my system, I don't have to waste time and say microphone test, 1, 2 test. And sometimes people get irritated. So what I do is I download a special test message, which I'm going to show you. And then I just hit that button. It will play that test message until I stop it. All right. Let's go to the button number 10. According to me, button number 10 is normally my all call in all my program. I normally make it my all call, right? So I hope you are following. So button number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As an experiment, I'm going to clear that button. I'm going to clear that button as well. Similar to those 2, I'm going to leave this code as it is. All right. Just want to show you why we are spending so much time labeling things. So I'm going to leave button number 9 as it is now. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to button number 1. I need to allocate a function. If you go on the if you go on the drop down button, if you click on it, it opens up. You can only choose 2 functions. Function number 1 is a zone selection function. Function number 2 is an EV start. By the way, I said EV start refers to your messages that you have played, right? Let's make things a bit interesting. Let's come to button number 5. Let's say COVID. And I know this is happening with us every day. COVID message. Okay, let's go back to our button number 1. Button number 1, let's choose zone selection. Number 2, zone selection. Number 3, zone selection. Number 10, because it's an all call, zone selection. Right. What we are saying is under button number 1, I've chosen a zone selection under contents number 1. Don't worry about contents number 2. Under contents number 1, Emma, this is where you need to allocate it to the area that you want. So content number 1 is area 1, area 1. The next button, contents, I'll put it to area 2. The next button, contents, I'll put it to area 3. So it means on my microphone, I can choose to speak to area 1 alone, area 2 alone, area 3 alone. And on the button number 10, I will choose contents as all call, which means if I want to make an overall global announcement to all my 3 areas, I just need to hit button number 10 on my microphone, press the green button, and I talk to every area at the same time. All right, let's come to messages. We have our test message, which I'm going to call it EV1. Okay, so EV start, then you choose EV1. The second one is going to be my COVID message. I am going to choose EV start, and I'm going to choose EV number 2. All right, I will show you where these EVs are referred to. By the way, you can record 6 general messages into the VM3000 plus 2 emergency messages. So it's 6 general messages plus an alert and an evac message, which I'll show you just right now. So 6 general messages plus 2 emergency messages. Let me type here. So you do 6 EV. These are general messages plus 2 EV. Sorry, these are 2 EV, which we call them emergency, which is your evac and alert. Okay. Right. These messages, guys, they must be WAV. Point number 1. They must be 48 kilohertz sampled. Please, it's important. I will explain this. So the sampling frequency is 48 kilohertz. It must be monaural. I'll explain all this to you. Okay, I've typed it in. Your messages must not be MP2, MP3 files. It only accepts WAV or wave files. These wave files, when you are converting them, you must convert them at 48 kilohertz sampling frequency, and they must not be stereo. It must not be a left and a right channel. It must be a mono output, one output. So not stereo, but monaural. That's what it means. When we are talking about 48 kilohertz sampling frequency, this is because we have a built-in DSP, digital signal processor, in our VM3000. What it does is it takes my ugly, horsey voice and tries and changes it to digital, smoothens it up so that the output is much better than what you're hearing. So it's got a built-in DSP engine. And this DSP only works for the VM on 48 kilohertz sampling frequency. As you know, MP3 is the worst audio files you can get. You do get good audio file formats, but MP3 currently is the worst because whenever you are compressing an audio signal, you're actually making it worse in terms of sound reproduction. So CD quality, all right? When we talk in CD and you take your MP3 file from the same artist and you start playing them on 2 different hi-fis or Wi-Fi or hi-fis or PAs, you will notice there will be a huge difference on the sound quality from the MP3 and the sound quality coming from the CD. The CD, it uses a 44.1 sampling frequency, 44.1 kilohertz sampling frequency. And you can imagine if the CD is rated at 44.1 and that quality is that good, you can imagine the amount of work being done in the VM3000 at 48 kilohertz sampling frequency. This is why I did mention the CD analogy for you to understand what this VM tries to do to any voice, to any message being played. It samples it at 48 kilohertz to try and reproduce a better quality output. All right. So basically, so your messages are 2 messages in this setup, general messages. One is a COVID message, one is a message which is a test message. I've done this now. We have finished programming the whole entire VM3000. So for Emma, You don't have to have a test. Tomorrow you can have a test message. You don't need to put a COVID message. This was an example that I wanted to show you. You can take it out in your program and choose here disabled, and then take the name out. But for this program, I'm going to leave it here because I'm saying EV2. If you leave it as this and you don't put anything on EV2, if you press this button number 5 on the microphone, what it's going to do, the system is going to say playing EV2, but there won't be any message. And the client might say, we are trying to play this, but there's no sound. So don't put it if you don't need it. Okay. So we have pretty much programmed the VM3000 right from the system. We went to surveillance. We went to priority. We went to the zone. We went to the event, which under event, we did under general. We went under emergency. And we finally finished up on RM key settings. Let me save my file. In this case, I'm just saving it. There's no need to save S because I'm just saving it. I've saved my file. And then after saving my file, I am ready to upload my file into the VM3000. But before doing so, let's have a look at this. If you are connected to the VM3000 directly, you can then click on this button, and then you'll be able to download the log file from the VM3000 to your PC, and then you can do your log file reading over here, okay? Number 2, the error list is another file. If you have programmed and you have got errors, they'll be all listed over here. So you just need to check your errors. Errors, if there's any fault lights on the VM, it normally gives you a fault light over here. This one, CPU fault or a general fault, normally it's under general fault. There will be an orange light over here. Just press the OK button. It will mute the buzzer, the t, which can be irritating, but it then gives you time to attend to the fault. So the fault, the orange light will go off. If, however, your CPU is failed inside here, then it will display a CPU fault. In this case, you will need to phone us. We'll have to send you a brand new CPU, put it in, install again everything, and then reconfigure the VM3000. It will work. Okay, let's go back to the setting software. Right, I've saved my file, right? So the VM3000, you can upload the configuration file first, and then upload your message file secondly. If you want, as soon as you are connected to it, you can immediately upload your messages first, doesn't matter, and then you come and program these ones and then upload your config file. But the bottom line is you need to upload the config file plus the utility file which contains your messages, as these two files are done and prepared separately. So what we were doing all along until here where we are now, where we've finished our program, we were just preparing the config file without preparing the EV, the message file. Right, let's go back to the config file. I am going to show you the reason why we spend so much time. Now let's go to the config file. Click on file, click on data output, click on print setting data. You can click on here, you can click on here. I'm going to click on print setting data first. Right, let's see. When the system says click on setting data, we are doing a print preview. Okay. Shucks. Okay. I'm not connected. Something is wrong. Sorry, I'm not connected to my printer. My printers give me problems in the office today. Let me try something else. Let me see if it will output it. So this is TechNet CSV. I can put it there for now. All right. So I will come to it. Let me try and see if I can print again setting data, if it will allow me. Just unfortunately, my printer is not working well, but yours, if it does. Okay, so mine is not printing well. But what it basically does, guys, maybe yours is already doing it. Let me know. What it does, if you hit that button. Oh, that's not clever. Okay, what it means is if you do print setting data output, you'll print out onto a file, And when you print this file out, it will give you a setting data template, or it will give you a paged out PDF copy of everything that we have printed, that we have set up in this. The idea behind this is, should the VM fail in future, should you lose your config file and maybe your laptop is crashed, you don't have the config file anymore, all you need to do is just go to your hard copy, follow the instructions on your hard copy. You'll be able to print this unit. You'll be able to program this unit as you have printed it out today, as you have programmed it out today. So this is the idea behind this. If you do this, this will give you a hard copy of everything that you were printing. Okay, of everything that you were programming. All right. Sorry, my like I said, my laptop is giving me issues. I can't connect to my printer. But for you guys, let me know if yours is working. And then the last one, again, let me just open up. The last one under file, under print data output is your remote labels. Mine might not work because it's having issues, but let me give it a shot. Emma, have you done it? Is it working on yours? Can you see the printout copy preview? Patricia, anyone? If you go into the printout file, does it give you that PDF data copy to show you the pages of everything from basic to the last one that we have programmed? If it does, oh, good. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mine is not because of that error that I have on my printer. Then the other thing that you have, that you can do, let me open up this one. I want you guys to do it.
Yeah, you can print.
Yeah, it normally comes to your software.
Not been programming.
Can you, I want to show you something on my software here. Come to file, data output, remote label. So remote label, once again, if your printer is working, it will take out this print file, all right, and it will populate it for you. So mine will not print, but this is where you use your print file to print the remote labels that you will print on A4. Take out your A4, go to your printer, get a pair of scissors, cut it out, and come and just slot your microphone labels onto the microphone. So this is how you print out the remote labels. All right, let me go to a file that I've saved that I know I've got the print labels. 1 second. Let me show you what that data output looks like. Right, 1 second. Let me go to my folder and I show you a printout file of that particular session, what it should look like if you are able to print more and more. Right. Remote labels. Let's open up this one. I'll open up that one. Right. You see, this is what you'd be able to print out from the software. If your printout was, if my printout was working, it will tell me, it will just print out this one. So all you need is a pair of scissors, cut it on the outer line, cut it, and then just take this piece of paper, push it under the microphone label, and this is how you label your microphone buttons. This is how you label your microphone buttons. The next one that I want to show you is the config file. Let me open this one. This is the data output that I was showing you. If you do data output, as you see, this is the training that I did for some guys last week in Nigeria. You'll be able to see what you were programming from the system basic settings. You go through each page, and you can go through each page, everything that you have seen, and you just copy this one and just type in each and everything that you see per page. Once you've done this, you can now dump this file into the VM3000. It will be able to work immediately as it is. So it gives up a backup hard copy of what you were programming. That's what I wanted to show you on the software side. Let's go back to my software so that I can finish up. Okay, let me go back to my software so that I can finish up. Right. So if there are questions now, this is time to start with them. So let me open up my software. I want to make sure I've captured everything. I'm going to share with you this config file, and the rest is just you guys trying out. Then I want to show you the utility. The rest is just you guys trying out, and if there's issues, let me know. I'll be able to log in and help you out. Otherwise, the VM3000 in nutshell is very, very straightforward. Okay, There we go. Let's open up my file, which is my TechNet folder. There we go. This is what we were programming, and this is what we've got. Now, everything I've got here, my file is done. So when you are doing messages, I'm going to send these messages to you. Hang on. Let me see. All right, I'll send these messages to you just now. So if you are programming the messages, what you do, you come under utility, you click on your utility button, all right, click on EV, right, it opens up your utility pattern. If you are already connected to the VM3000, you'll see a green bar moving, and if there's already messages on the VM3000, it will populate them here. Default from the factory, the VM3000 does not come with messages. And you also notice something important. When we were doing our programming, when we were doing our main programming, we were programming under, so I can open up. All right, we had EV1 and EV2. If you remember, where I was saying EV1 is the test message, EV2 was going to be our COVID message, and we have an evac message and alert message. It is important, guys, when you are doing this, that you map your messages correctly. Number one, if you click on the reference folder, it's going to ask you or take you to a file where you have your wave messages. For example, it already knows where I have my VM3000 messages. I'm going to share these messages with you just in case you don't have them. So the first one is my test message. I put my test message and I say open, right? If my second file, right, was a building clear message like this one, I click building clear message and put it over there. Then under evacuation, I need to put my evac message. I think these messages, Emma has got them already. There's an evac message. And then lastly, my alert message, pay particular attention. These messages. Hello? Okay. And then under reference, I'm going to take my alert EV, alert wave message, right? Once I have these messages in, you need to run what we call a dry run. You need to play this message. It will not play in the speakers. It will play on your laptop, just for you to be able to know you have put in the right message in the right slot. So for example, my test message is EV1.
Attention, attention. This is a test. Please ignore alarms or messages. Thank you.
Okay, that's a test message. The next message will be my clear message,
clear,
which can be a COVID-19 message. The other one will be my evac message.
Please. This is an emergency. Please leave the building by the nearest available exit.
The last one is my alert message.
In the building. Please await further instructions.
Right. These are the messages. I'm happy with the messages. I just need to come to here, which is PC to VM. Click on it. You'll be able to upload these messages to the VM. Once you've uploaded your messages to the VM, if I click on mine, you will see it will go and it will say the VM of this internet protocol address is not connected. So just click on there. Yours will be different. If you are actually connected to the VM, it will upload these messages. When you click close, it will ask you, do you want to send the same EV? You say no or yes, depending on what you want. I always go no because I already have these EV messages. And then you must make sure that before you switch off or go off your program, you go under communication, you click on PC to VA, then the PC to VA will allow you to take whatever you have programmed over here straight into your VM3000. Your VM3000 will reboot, switch back on, and you have a working VM3000 system. All right, so this is in a nutshell what you need to do when you are programming the VM3000. I'm going to share with you the program that I've just done now. If you were programming along me, you are more than welcome to make changes or keep it. If you go to site, if you are using this program, if you go to site Emma, you need to click into there, change these zone names to be the actual names on site, and go to your event, go to your remote microphone. Please make sure that you name the buttons appropriately to the name of your zones. Once you've done this, upload your file and got your data output, got your remote labels, you'll be able to print out the remote labels that you then cut and just slide onto the microphone buttons. This is how you name your buttons. Right. The training is done. It's 14:35. I booked you guys up to 1600 hours, but it went pretty fast because we were just doing one system. It wasn't bad. So you guys are welcome to unmute your microphones if you want. If you've got questions, queries, some gray areas, you are more than welcome to share with me. So I'm going to save again this program, and I'm going to share this program with you, Emma, via your email address, and I will send it everything that I've shown you via WeTransfer. Right, so it's up to you guys to ask me questions.
My question is on the integration of the fire panel. The termination for on the rear view for the VM, I've understood. And then on the fire panel itself, now when I'm connecting, so I connect only one. It's the orange, white pair.
Yeah.
On the first, when you see on the connection point here.
Yeah.
So okay, there. So it's the orange, white, right?
Yeah, orange, white. If you want orange here, orange white here, doesn't matter. There's no polarity. There's no polarity. It doesn't matter.
Then from the side of the VM is just plugging the RJ45 in the emergency control.
Right. Let's do it so that you can relate well. Let's do it for you so that you can relate well. Right. Let's deal with these two. Right. Your RJ45 goes in here.
It will be emergency control input 1.
Yes. So what you do, Emma, before you connect this to the fire panel, and you have programmed.
Do we make a handmade delivery now?
Okay. So what you do here, when you get to the fire panel side connection, simply don't connect to the fire panel. Okay, don't connect to the relay here. What you do to make sure that your program is working, make sure that you put in your Cat5 cable, you strip it. You have programmed your system, you have put your messages in the right slots. All you need to do is twist together the stripped copper from the orange, white, and orange cable. If you touch them together, immediately you do so, you will hear that your VM3000 will start broadcasting an alert message into your speaker zones. If you remove it, it will immediately stop. You go to the next cable, which is your green, white. You touch it together, your VM will start broadcasting your evac message into all zones. You remove it, it will stop. So those are the two connections that you really need to do. The other one, which is your blue, white pair, normally the guys from the fire panel will not give you a third relay because it's expensive. The system already does it. So basically, we've put it as an emergency override program. We don't have to use it. All you need is your orange, white pair to do your alert. The next relay, your green, white pair to do your evac. As soon as you reset the fire panel, the system is reset. And I've said there's no polarity. You can have your orange, white on the common, your orange on the normally open. You can have it opposite. It doesn't matter. There's no polarity. Those two wires are non-polarized. You can connect them anyhow you want.
I have a question regarding that same issue, that same point. I still don't understand. So on the side of the VM, you're not stripping anywhere. You're stripping on the other side.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have your right. Let's do this. So Patricia, you have a Cat5 cable, normal standard straight patch cable, with two RJ45s on each side. Okay.
Yes.
So what you would then do, you cut the RJ45 off one side and strip the cable. So you have your orange cables, your blue colored cables, your green colored cables. Then the other side with the RJ45, you just push it into emergency in number 1 over here. right? Once you've pushed it in, if you go now to the orange cables, the two orange cables, the orange, white, and the orange, and you touch them together, okay, it means you have stripped the ends off. So it's the copper inside. If you touch it together, immediately the VM will go into emergency alert according to your program. If you remove the two cables from the twisted pair wire, the VM will stop because the trigger is no longer there. If you take the next cable, which is your green, and you touch it again, you will notice the VM immediately will start evacuating people. The moment you remove the link, you have stopped. This, by touching, is what the relay fire panel is going to do. You basically have a cable here and a cable here. When it's normally open, it means there's no continuity. When the relay closes this gap, it's as good as touching the two wires across. That's how the system interfaces to the fire panel. Okay, is that okay?
No.
You strip and put them on the side of the fire panel, correct?
Yeah. So the stripped part is where you're going to connect here to the terminals. So you push in a cable here, stripped it. You push in another cable, stripped it. You guys have got a VM3000 in your office, correct?
Yes.
What I want you to do, go to that VM, download the program that is sitting on that VM, save it as TechNet demo, right? Take this program that I've done with you, dump it into that TechNet and into that VM. It will be now ready to do this. So what you do, dump the same program that we are doing, that we've done together, that I'm going to send you into that VM at TechNet, and then take a piece of Cat5 cable, right? Strip one side off, push it on terminal number 1, right here. Push it on terminal number 1. The stripped pieces touch the orange together. You will hear your VM. It will start broadcasting the message that you have programmed. You remove it, it will stop. Take the two green cables, touch them together. That VM will start broadcasting. What you are simulating is, by touching them, you are just simulating this relay being activated, being closed. That's all. Okay. Is it okay? Still grayed out? Still needs a bit of explanation?
Yes. We are still confused here.
No.
The rest is okay.
Yeah.
Now
the confusion is very simple, Emma.
Now, the question is, on the side of the VM, on the emergency, on the emergency control in,
Yeah.
I'm going to terminate and put a normal RJ45
Correct.
and plug it in here, right?
Correct.
And then the other side on the fire panel, it will be stripped. So
Yes.
now, what we'll have to do is, on the normally open, I'll get the orange, white. I put the orange on the first, then the white on the second.
It's fine.
Correct? And then the rest will just be there hanging. Is that correct? Oh, okay.
Come again there.
Then the rest of the blue, white, and green, white will not be inserted into the fire panel. I can only use either.
There will be.
There will be.
Yeah, the secret is, Emma, this relay is one relay. You see here, this is one relay. This relay is asking you, do you want to use the normally closed port, or do you want to use these are not two relays. So physically on site, you must have two of these relays for you. One relay to do the alert, the other relay to do the evac. So you must have two relays, not a single relay like this. Is it making sense?
Not. So when you are giving us the combinations,
yes,
We said you have 6 emergency triggers.
Yes.
Trigger 1 was orange, white. Trigger 2, green, white. Trigger 3 was blue, white. Trigger 4, brown, white.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have orange, right?
Yes.
Orange, white.
Yes. And
Those
brown,
are the
brown, white.
and yes. So now we are having, because we're having the orange. Now, when you strip, you have all this combination, the orange, white. You say that goes to the really like the normally open or normally close, that point of it.
Yes.
So what about the green, white?
Okay. So I
And
see
the
where
red.
Okay. Like let's try and clarify this. I see where the confusion is coming from. All right, cool. Right. From the fire panel. Okay. You guys need to ask the fire panel engineers to give you 3 basic relays. 3 relays will represent, this is a single relay. This is not a dual relay. This is one relay. The next relay will be like this, another relay. The third relay will be like this, another relay. But in this design, in this software that we have done, you don't need 3 relays. You only need 2 relays. So you need 2 relays like this. So on relay number 1, we are going to come here and connect orange, white. This relay is already done. The same relay, which is relay number 2, we are going to connect your green and green white cable. That's it. So the fire panel works on relay outputs. On the fire panel, they'll program to say single knock relay number 1 must come on and double knock relay number 2 must come on. So physically on site, you need to have 2 relays. It might be different model of relays, but you must have minimum 2 relays. So these 2 relays, if they ask you, tell them I want a normally open relay times 2, 1 for alert on single knock, 2 for evac on double knock. That's the point. So you must have minimum 2 relays like this, which means if you have relay number 1, you then connect your orange, white pair. This relay is done. Relay number 2, you then connect your green, white pair, which is now what is coming from here. So it's 2 relays, right? Each control input, emergency control input from the VM3000 must equal to a control output relay from the fire panel. Let's talk about it again. Each control input trigger on my VM3000, it requires a relay, a separate relay. Okay, so relay number 1, which is which is orange, represents 1 relay. Green pair, relay number 2. The blue pair, relay number 3. The brown pair, relay number 4. This means this one is fully done. The next one, which is now my orange, which is my number 5, relay number 5, and then the brown one, the last one, relay number 6. So to use all 6 inputs, you need 6 relays, independent, individual relays from the fire panel.
Understood.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. So now, on my fire panel, I only need 2 relays.
Yes.
That is 2 separate relays. Number 1, I will use orange, white. Then the second it will be green, white, or blue, white, whatever, because they're already, yes.
Yeah. So basically, you are spot on, guys. This is what I was trying to say. Each control trigger on my side requires a relay. So for Emma, tomorrow, you need to ask them to give you 2 relays, 1 to do the alert and 1 to do the evac. So on the fire panel side, we talk of single knock and double knock. So they will ask you, okay, you tell them, I want a single, on the single knock, I want a relay. On the double knock, I want a relay. What it means is, when the fire system is picking up one signal, one smoke detector is picking up a signal, it sends that information to a relay, which they call single knock relay, which is the relay that you connect to your alert, which is your orange, white pair in this example. If 2 or more detectors pick up smoke in the same area, that same fire panel will then switch on another different relay. In this case, this becomes relay number 2. This becomes your green, green, white to then evacuate. So single knock will be your orange, orange, white colors, and then your double knock will be your green, green, white colors. So you need 2 relays on site tomorrow for you to be able to have the system to automatically trigger. All right. Okay, are you guys good?
Yes, we are good. Now, the other question is, I remember you saying when now you are uploading, after doing all the programming, you first start with, there are 2, you cannot, when you go to the utilities, there's evac messages, and then there's also the programming itself for everything.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to clarify, which one do you start? You start with first?
I start with the configuration file. Always, I start with the configuration file, because under the configuration file, this is where I am going to do all my programming. And then I need just to make sure that if I am going to do a test message, when I come to the file, you see here it says EV1. EV1, you see my EV1 here? So what it means is I do this and I send it up. I need to know what is my EV, my test message. If my EV test message is EV1, if I come to utility and do this, then what it means is EV1, I must record the test message over here. So EV1 must be a test message according to my program. Then evac is evac. There's nothing you can change. Alert, you must put an alert message. So the bottom 2 section, you don't change anything. You just put an alert message or an evac message, depending on which slot you are using. Then EV1, if you are going to use it, this is where you allocate your test messages according to what you have programmed. Ladies and gents, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on board today. I want to thank you for making time to attend this training session. I hope it was an eye-opener. And if you need help in the future, please do let me know. That's the reason why I'm employed by TOA. So do you have a better afternoon than mine? Mine is always super crazy, but do you have a better afternoon, and chat to you soon. Good luck with the VM3000 tomorrow, Emma.